Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Home of Politics. Continue subscribing, viewing, sharing my videos, and also sending me your comments in the comment section so that we can be together in every analysis that I do. Enjoy watching. Ladies and gentlemen, according to the 4 days tour that the president has just completed today, there is a significant change or a significant thing that we witnessed across all the meetings that he held in different counties like Siaya, Kisumu, Migori, Homa Bay, in every place when he called to address people. The crowd came in big numbers that we could even not imagine that he managed to bring all these residents of Nyanza region together to listen to him. And this was out of our expectations because factors that could be expected to hinder the people from coming in big numbers were no influence. Of course, we know President William Ruto had no influence in the Nyanza region during the time of campaign, after campaign, and even this time when he is as the president. He has no influence in Nyanza region, and this was the expectation that people will not turn out. We also had he scored no votes or few countable votes from this region, and this communicated to us that people did not love William Ruto. They did not have interest in him, even to listen to him, but out of expectations, people came out in big numbers to listen to this president. And also, this is a stronghold of opposition, official opposition of Kenya, and having that influence, then it was expected that since this one is the government visiting the opposition's backyard, then it could be impossible for people to come out in big numbers to listen to what the president will say. And finally, this insecurity issue in Sondu that had been a problem few days before visitation of the president was also another obstacle that made people believe that these residents will not come out in big numbers to listen to their president. But out of all these obstacles that were being speculated that they will lead to less people coming out, it was out of expectation, and we just wondered how it happened. And why do you think these residents just came out in big numbers in all counties? When he was in Kisumu, the same crowd appeared. When he was in Siaya, the same thing. And today, lastly, in Migori and the other places like Homa Bay, these people came out in big numbers and they were happy to have a conversation with the president. Why? Ladies and gentlemen, the crowd came out in high number because coming there, they had their own expectations and they had made their specific requests. For example, we see the issue of insecurity in Sondu, that is the border of Kericho County and Kisumu County, where some people had lost their lives, destruction of property, and most of them were left injured. This was the trap whereby they expected the government to handle this issue of insecurity as an emergency issue before visitation of the president, of which it happened according to their expectations, whereby the CS of Interior, Kithure Kindiki, ordered the immediate transfer of chiefs and police officers who were lazy and who were involved in the crime. And this made the residents very happy because they felt like what they had requested had been responded very quickly, and now peace could prevail so that the president can visit the region. And so coming to see the president with this satisfaction of their requests being fulfilled about the insecurity issues addressed in Sondu, then people had a lot of faith and hope to come and see the president because at least one of their problems had been tackled. My good people, we also see that these people or residents of Nyanza region just simply expressed to the nation that they have accepted and welcomed the president in their region, regardless of any other factors that could have been existing or have been existing, and they have accepted him as their president. Leave alone other things, divisive politics, different ideas, and other stories to do with politics. But as much as they are in Kenya and president is just one, then they have welcomed this president and they have accepted that they have the president who is William Ruto. We also have another reason. They had to appreciate the bringing of development and visitation of their region. This is because if they can compare this regime with the previous one, they were hardly visited by the president, not until the last minute when this region had had an handshake with the government when the former president visited their region, and I think it was only once, but it was not something that was received with high happiness because maybe there was some of the instability that had happened. But this one, merely 1 year in office, but the president has visited that region several times, and for them, they appreciate so much to receive the development which have been brought by the president himself, leave alone sending the MPs, sending the PSS, sending other leaders like governors. The president himself coming to their region. Actually, they appreciated so much. We also have another reason here. We see Nyanza community, that one to do with political ideas and other things. They have just realized that the enmity that might be existing between political parties or political enmity that have been existing cannot go far and will not interfere with development. This is because we see they do not need any approval of their kingpin or community leader to tell them that you should receive projects development or you should go and listen to the president who is coming in your region. It is just something to do with that rubbing off anything that had occurred in the past, and now they have to work in unity just like other regions in Kenya. And so they have realized that the political enmity or the difference in political parties that is existing in Kenya right now cannot help anything, but it will hinder them from experiencing their freedom of association, freedom of expression, and even enjoying their rights as Kenyans to enjoy this development that are being brought to their region. And so the issue of differences in political parties is something that this community has decided to leave it behind because of realizing their freedom and enjoying development just like other Kenyans. Good people, there is this issue of the community kingpins of Nyanza, kingpins, which have been having that the tendency of maybe people becoming afraid of interacting with certain leaders only because they have not been allowed or they have not seen one of their kingpin in that meeting. But this one is just surprising because these leaders who are top in that region, they are not present in these meetings, but their people have just come out in big numbers to impress the president. And so the absence of their kingpin, who is Raila, does not by any means influence their absent too from attending the meeting and the issue of receiving the development. And so for this region, it is very important for them that they have their own freedom despite differences in the political parties and political ideologies, but they should embrace this leader because as much as they are still in the area that is a stronghold of opposition, or they are in another region that have been having different ideologies in terms of politics, but the development should be experienced in all Kenya, and this should not be a hindrance. My good people, lastly, we see Nyanza region is very happy with President William Ruto because this president is supporting bipartisan talk 100%. This is because this is a forum where the ideas and everything to do with the leader of Nyanza, this is Honorable Raila Odinga, has been articulated very well through the bipartisan talks, and they have been given a platform whereby they can express themselves. And this was a request where most of the Kenyans wanted the two sides to have a dialogue, at least to restore the peace of our nation. And so because the leader of Nyanza region is the leader who is engaging one in the bipartisan talk with the president, then Supporting the bipartisan talk by the president is something that has impressed the Nyanza region, because it is a platform whereby all the parties have come in the limelight, at least to discuss, to exchange ideas for the well-being of our nation, my good people. And lastly, we see the stronghold of the opposition, official opposition of Kenya, is Nyanza region, and there's nothing that you can do about it, because that is the freedom of parties that is happening in Kenya, since we are a democratic nation. And so having this region as a stronghold of official opposition of Kenya, and that issue of at least welcoming the president with a lot of happiness, it is something that this region has just decided to embrace unity, and at least show that relationship that might exist between the local people and their leaders. And this is something that has just made us very happy, because you see in some regions leaders attend meetings with some conditions. You should not do this, you should not go here, you should not do this, you should not speak like this while you are in a certain region. But in this region, they have really broke that boundary that have been existing for a long time between the other region and the government. This is something that is very impressive. And the big turnout of number of people in all